Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with my first video for World of Warships Legends, the console version of the World of Warships game that's been out for a while on PC. And I've been excited for this game. I've had my eye out for it for a while, and I'm excited to see that it's arrived in this pre-release format, basically subject to change, a little bit more than a beta, but not quite a full release. And I'm excited for this because I was a long-time World of Tanks console player. My channel started with World of Tanks content. I played for a couple of years. There's a lot of videos from my time spent in that game. I enjoyed it a lot, and so I think I will also enjoy World of Warships Legends. So what I want to do normally with this channel for World of Warships Legends is focus on gameplay, good battles where there's either a really good personal performance by me or maybe somebody on my team if I don't have the greatest game, but I kind of get to see somebody on my team who has one, or some really entertaining battle, a back and forth battle, close calls, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat or vice versa. Something that's either really impressive on a performance level or really entertaining on a how the battle played out. So that'll normally be where the videos for this channel go, at least in my head as I'm planning things out. Again, very early on here in my time spent with this game. But for the first video, what I want to do is focus on the campaign, basically the mission that's going on right now, and it's to earn a premium ship, the Atlanta. And World of Tanks console did this a lot, where they would have a mission that would be a kind of a long-term mission, and you could earn a tank, a premium tank at the end of it by kind of spending your time and grinding out these missions. And so what I want to do is kind of give my impressions of the first week of that mission, how things are going, how it looks like they're going to go, some feedback on that. And while I'm doing that in the background, I have what's a good game, so you're not just staring at either text or slides or anything else. You'll get to see a battle. I don't know if this is up to the standards where it could be its own replay because it was good enough. Again, still working out the kinks, still learning the game and learning what a really good replay is, what a really good battle result is. But I thought good enough to at least serve as some B-roll while we talk about the Atlanta game, the Atlanta mission, and give some feedback on where we would like to see it go in the future. So as I get started, I do just want to say again, we are 1 week into what is a 6-week campaign. So there are some assumptions being made that things that we saw in the first week will remain consistent throughout the 6 weeks. Obviously, if week 2 starts and values and things like that for the missions that I'm going to discuss have changed, it's going to throw off this analysis, but we're projecting based on what we know currently. And so the first thing is great that there is a campaign in the game where you can earn a premium ship. I loved those missions in World of Tanks. They were time intense. They were kind of spread out, and they were spread out intentionally. Like, you were prevented from getting all the missions done in the first week of this month-long mission. You could only get so many parts of the mission done early, and then the later parts released later. And I didn't love that. I felt like if you put the time in early, let me progress as far as I want to go. But that's fine. That's a small gripe, and it does appear that that is going to be in place again. Basically, how the structure works out is you need to earn a currency called Renown, and if you earn 25 Renown, you go up a level, and you need to get to the 79th level in order to unlock the Atlanta. But there's a little bit more to it than that. So first, a little bit of philosophy here. For me, there's 3 major components that you can reward a player for in terms of what they put in to give them a reward in your game, right? And those 3 are time, skill, and money. Either you're grinding, you're spending your time playing because you need players in your game. If you don't have people playing, you don't have a game, and you're not gonna have anybody spending money if there's no one to play against. Skill, you wanna reward people who really take the time to get good at the game, who learn the mechanics, who dedicate themselves to it, so that they feel like they're getting rewarded. If you can just go in and put something on autopilot, and it doesn't matter if I've spent 500 hours learning and mastering the game and somebody can just roll into the game on their first day and I have no advantage over them, then there's no sense of progression, no sense of reward. So that's skill. And then obviously money. By investing cash into the game, that's something the game needs to survive. They need people to pay, to subsidize the people who are playing for free. Usually that's the third way, and that's usually an accelerant. You can use money to shortcut the other two, time or skill. Unfortunately, the one kind of gripe I have about the campaign at this point is that this campaign requires all three of those facets. You need time, you need skill, and you need money to get the Atlanta. There's something in the game called Admiralty Backing, which is a special premium purchase that if you don't have it, you don't get the Atlanta. Even if you finish all 79 levels of the campaign, when you get to level 79, you don't get the ship. You have to have this extra special thing purchased to get not only the Atlanta, but other rewards throughout the 79 levels of progress. And the price for it is reasonable. It's 2,500 doubloons, which is the premium in-game currency, which is basically a $10 purchase. So on its own, that's fine that it's $10 and not 100 or something crazy. But the fact that no matter what, no matter how much time you spend in the game to earn this ship, you cannot get it unless you also spend some amount of money. And that's not right to me. That's not how these things should go. If a player is dedicated and puts in the time, they should be able to get a ship. If you want to have premium ships that you can only get through a purchase, perfectly fine, go ahead and do that. But if the idea is, here's a campaign, you can earn this ship by grinding to get it, then having the additional premium purchase on top of that being required, that's not something that I like to see. That's not something I want to support. So hopefully that doesn't continue. I know some other games do it. There's, I don't know what they call them, battle passes in Fortnite and all that, but this isn't Fortnite. This is a different kind of game, and I don't want to see that going forward. If I had my vote, that would be removed. Of course, if you want to let people purchase the Atlanta straight out, do so, and people have. I've seen them in game in this first week. But if people can grind it out and want to go for it, there should be a free-to-play method to do so. So once the Admiralty backing is out of the way, and I should say the one good thing about it is you don't have to purchase it up front. You can wait, finish level 79, say, I did the mission, I can get the Atlanta, and then you can make the decision to spend the 10 bucks and unlock the ship. So again, they've done it in the best way possible, but I still don't think there's any good way to do it. It shouldn't be done that it's required. So in order to get the 79 levels, to get all the renown, you need a total of 1,975 renown, almost 2,000. And that's again based on an assumption that every level of the mission requires 25 renown. That's what it's been so far. Maybe again there's a hidden trick. If you get to level 70, to go from 70 to 71, maybe it jumps to 100 renown. We don't know, but I think it's been said that people have seen comments from the devs that it is in fact 25 and it stays consistent. So if that's true, 1,975 renown to get all the way through to the final top level of renown to unlock the ability to get the Atlanta. In order to get renown, you can't just grind it. You can only get it by completing special missions that are put into the game. And there's two types. So there's a weekly mission that has a set of renown that you can earn. And in the first week, it was 225 total renown that you could earn. So if you, again, assuming that stays consistent, if we come back next week in week 2, that weekly jumps up to 500, disregard some of what I'm going to say. But this is, again, based on the assumption things will remain consistent. 225 renown per week for the 6 weeks that the event is going to run would get you to 1,350 renown. So that leaves a 650 renown gap that you need to make up. Well, how do you do that? So far, the only way it seems to be able to do that is a campaign-long set of missions. So they were there on the first day. They don't have an expiration date. It doesn't look like they're going to go away next week. It looks like they stay in place for the entirety of the campaign, and they're worth a total of 650 renown. So there's a 25 renown gap. You could actually earn 2,000 if you complete all the missions, again, that we're assuming will be in the game during the campaign. But it's only a 25 renown gap. And part of the problem with that is in that campaign trials, in that campaign long set of missions, there is an extremely high skill gap blocking a big chunk of that renown. So in one of the missions, it's the third of a chain of 4. You need to hit 150,000 total damage in one battle. And that's worth 100 renown, and that's blocking a 4th mission in the chain, which you need to get a Kraken, which I think is 5 kills in a game. And again, that's for 100 renown. And those are extremely difficult missions. 9 times out of 10, you won't even be able to have a chance to complete it. If you're in a tier 3 game, there may not be enough hit points on the enemy team to get there. If you're in a tier 4 or 5 game, there might be if there's enough battleships, or there might not. But you're going to need things to go extremely favorably to have a chance. If, you know, the enemy battleship spawn on the other side of the map, they could be dead before you even get there, or you couldn't even see them, or, you know, they could be wiped out before you have a chance, or your team could be wiped out before you have a chance. I've seen lots and lots of people on Reddit and other sources saying the 150,000 is, it's a lightning strike chance, right? Some people have done it that are hardcore players. They've seen it happen, but it's really rare and it's really hard. And on top of all of that, it's not focused on playing as a team. It's focused on personal damage. So I don't want my team to win. That doesn't help me. I want myself to have the most success possible doing damage. So I could be in a situation, I've got 140,000 damage, and I can go for the cap and secure the win, but there's 3 enemy ships on the other team, and there's no way they could reach me. I know where they are, but I'm not going to cap and get the win. That doesn't help. I need the damage, so I'm going to go throw the game to try and get that extra 10,000 damage. So a lot of problems there. It's too high of a skill gap. It's blocking too much of the renown, and the high skill gap doesn't coincide with being a good teammate. It coincides with this kind of selfish play style. All of that is bad. All of that is a mess. And again, if you could ignore that and still reach the 1975, fine. But according to what we know now, you can't. That's blocking 200 total renown, and there's not enough of a gap to get through it. So again, the silver lining is that you can skip levels by paying, I think, 250 doubloons, like $1 each, to get past certain gaps in the renown. So you can make it up with money, but that isn't the right way to go about this. You can have skill be an accelerant, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on how I would prefer to see these missions. But to have it be a hard cap, if you don't have a tier 5 ship, I mean, do you even have a chance at this? So I think that mission is another thing that's a little bit off. And the example is, right now it's Saturday, there's a day or a day and a half left on the first week of the campaign. I finished my weekly missions. The only thing I have left to do that I could progress on towards the Atlanta is to get that 150,000 damage game. I'm not gonna play the game right now just grinding out, hoping I get that 150,000 damage lightning strike of a game. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to find something else to do with my time. So the mission should be built in a way that I can always make progress. Basically, this is a get the damage or the mission's a failure. Get 150,000 damage or you wasted your time. That's not a good feeling. Even if you have a great game, if you help your team win, but you didn't progress towards that mission that you're trying to accomplish, then you failed. That's not how this should be. That's not the feeling that I would think you would want to engender in your player base. So right now, I'm done playing until the next weekly missions roll out. And then again, as I'm grinding, if lightning strikes and I happen to get this, great. But if not, I'm not going to spend my time just grinding on that. So how would I recommend fixing this? Again, I would cut out the money requirement. The Admiralty backing is a complete turnoff for me, and I don't think that's the right way to go. At worst case scenario, your premium time should count. If you have a premium account, basically you pay a monthly fee to have a certain amount of time where you get increased rewards, and at the same time, if that paid for your Admiralty backing, if you have a month of premium time, the Admiralty backing is considered paid for and secured, fine. But again, even that, I would say, shouldn't be part of the equation. Money can be a bypass, money can be an accelerant, but it shouldn't be a hard requirement. So I would remove that as a wall to getting the Atlanta. The second thing I would do is, as I mentioned earlier, is I would remove the skill wall. Again, skill should be an accelerant. If you're good at the game, you should be able to accomplish these missions faster, but it shouldn't be required that you have a top 5% game or a top 1% game in order to complete a mission that's going to be required to get this ship without having to otherwise pay for it. So there's ways you could do that. You could have this mission kind of be tiered with 3 options. So the mission could be complete 1 game with 150,000 total damage, or complete 3 games with 100,000 total damage, or complete 5 games with 50,000 total damage. So then that's fine. Everybody, I think, can have a good game and get 50,000 damage. It's not easy, but it's not super hard. You could do it if you dedicate it, if you put enough time in, and if you try, you can get 50,000 damage. Or then, if not, if you say even that's too hard, you could have the 4th option be put up 300,000 total damage, and then that way, no matter what, as long as you're getting some damage in each game, you're helping grind out towards that total. So you're always making progress, and I just feel like that's a better way for this mission to go. If you hit that lucky lightning strike 150k, bam, you're done in 1 game. But if not, as long as you're having really good games, you can have 300k games. Not too bad. Or 5 50k games. Not too bad. You're always making progress. It always feels within reach. Those are things I would continue to grind for if I didn't have any other missions going on at this time. So that's going to wrap up this first video. Those are my thoughts. Again, I don't want this to come off as negative. This is a brand new game. Things are still in flux, and it's great that there's an opportunity to earn a premium ship. All of that is good, and 90% of how the event is set up, I like. I like how the missions reward you, and it seems like the steps are reasonable, but just a couple of things, requirement for a pay, and that super high skill wall preventing you from being able to do this without paying money are 2 things that I would recommend get a review and hopefully see changed in future outcomes for this. And again, maybe I'm wrong. If we come out in the 2nd week and the weekly renown is 500 instead of 225, right? Then forget the skill wall thing and I'll completely retract that. But the assumptions that I've based this video on, those are the things I'd like to see kind of considered and talked about. And I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Again, first video, tell me what you think. Tell me about the format. Tell me what you want to see. But also tell me what you think about the Atlanta campaign. Are you guys going for it? How's your first week gone? What do you guys think? What would you like to see different going forward? So with all that said, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.